Hi there everybody, how are you all doing? A Merry Christmas to you all. It's the last video that I'm doing before the big day for Yu-Gi-Oh! So Merry Christmas to everybody who has been watching my Yu-Gi-Oh! Content over the past year. I really do appreciate it. You guys have been turning up. So I really do appreciate the fact that you've been coming out and watching the content for me. It's been really amazing. So today we are going to be going a little bit of a deeper dive into Light and Darkness LADDLord that I provided the deck profile for a couple of weeks ago before Crossover Breakers came out, and I had to open those cards obviously. So yeah, we're going to be looking at the deck for Light and Darkness LADDLord in a little bit more detail, going over specific interactions with the cards, why I chose to put those specific cards into the deck and what I think that can accomplish, how much good it can do, and yeah, I'm gonna cover some of the mini combos in this video as well, because there's not many sort of massive combos that you kind of need to be able to do with this. It's quite simple. Summon some level 8 dragons out and get out Light and Darkness LADDLord. It's that simple, but we'll kind of go through in this video how to go about that rather than doing it in a separate video next week. And then next week we're going to be covering something else. We're going to be revisiting mementos a little bit. So yeah, if you have been enjoying the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content on the channel, then please do subscribe down below. It'd be very much appreciated if you did. Trying to hit 300 subscribers before the end of the year. I almost said 300k then. I'm not at 300k. I wish I was, but I'm not. 300 subscribers before the end of the year. That would be absolutely amazing, because we originally, the target was to get to 250. We're at 290 as of recording this video. So yeah, if we can get to 300, that would be the icing on the cake for my year, I think. So let's get on into the deck. Let's see what we can pull out of this deck and go through some of those individual cards. So we've got quite a lot to get through with this deck, so let's just run through. I've kind of separated it out into little sections as to what I want to talk about. But let's start with the dragons. So the level 8 dragons that we have in this deck, we've got a bunch of them, and basically the key thing about all of these level 8 dragons, well, this isn't level 8, but it turns itself into level 8. All of these level 8 dragons, for a start, they're either dark or light attribute, which is important for the deck. And secondly, they can all special summon themselves under different circumstances. So, Dark End Evaporation Dragon, banish one level 8 dragon monster from your extra deck to special summon this card from your hand. Light End Sublimation Dragon has exactly the same summoning condition. Night Arm Dragon, so if you special summon a level 5 or higher dragon monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then if it's special summoned, you can make this card's attribute and level become the same as one of your banished dragon monsters. So if you summon Dark End or Light End dragons, you can just simply make this become the opposite attribute, essentially. If you, for example, if you're summoning Light End Sublimation Dragon, you can send the Dark End Dragon from your extra deck in order to make this become a level 8 dark, rather than sort of having to worry about the attributes that you need. So it's a really handy card to have in there, and just being able to special summon itself is really useful. Nebula Dragon as well, you can reveal this card and one other level 8 dragon monster in your hand to special summon both but negate their effects, which is it's absolutely fine to negate their effects as long as you are not summoning Dark End or Light End Sublimation Dragon, because you need those effects to be able to fuse. So if you're going to be summoning Nebula Dragon with like Levineer, sorry, you can't even summon Levineer off it. Galactic Spiral Dragon, for example. You've got a light and a dark. They're both level 8. You'd be able to go in for your Xyz into like Hope Harbinger Dragon and stuff like that. So Nebula Dragon is really, really good for being able to just get 2 big dragons on the field. Chaos Dragon Levineer. You can banish 3 light and or dark monsters from the graveyard in order to summon Levineer. Again, just being able to special summon itself, and if you do banish both light and dark, you get to destroy up to 2 cards on the field as well, which is really, really good. So yeah, again, just summoning itself in that way is great. And then Galactic Spiral Dragon as well. So if this card, whilst this card is in your hand or graveyard and you control 2 or more light and or dark dragon monsters, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. So yeah, that's just perfect for being able to, you're almost guaranteed to being able to control 2 light and or dark dragon monsters. So just being able to special summon this from your hand or your graveyard if you get it sent to the graveyard is brilliant. So yeah, all of these monsters are just great for being able to summon themselves. They're all different attributes to just facilitate that additional attribute that you need for Light and Darkness DragonLord. Let's actually talk about Light and Darkness DragonLord now, because Light and Darkness DragonLord is a really cool card. I really like this card. So Light and Darkness DragonLord here. So it must be fusion summoned. And then whilst face up on the field, this card is also dark attribute. So once per chain, if a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, quick effect, this card loses exactly 1000 attack and defense, and if it does, negate the activation. So, Light and Darkness DragonLord, that is a mandatory effect. It has to lose that the 1000 attack and defense in order to, in response to anything. It's once per chain. So basically, this is a mandatory effect that is almost always going to be chain link 2 to negate whatever the chain link 1 is on the first 3 attempts at using stuff that anyone uses after Light and Darkness DragonLord hits the field. Now, the important thing about this is it does negate your own stuff. So you do have to be careful. You need to slam this down as the last thing that you're playing and then pass turn to your opponent. Or like the only other thing that you could have done is already have used Magnum's effect, so you're adding during the end phase. It doesn't negate that or anything like that. But yeah, Light and Darkness DragonLord, just negating the first 3 things that the opponent does. Obviously, if they know what it does, they can try and play around it a little bit. But it is incredibly useful for just getting those negates out, and it just automatically interrupts the opponent's plays. Now, even after it has lost its attack and defense and it can't negate anymore, it still attempts to. So the way that this works is even like anything, it goes chain link 2 onto anything, and it can't lose the attack and defense, so it doesn't negate. But what it does do is chain block. So there are a number of cards. So if you're trying to use an effect of your own in order to summon something out, like Light and Darkness DragonLord will chain block, it can't be Ash Blossom then. So it's really handy for being able to do stuff like that. And it also stops the opponent from being able to use sort of when effects. So when something is summoned, you can summon this sort of thing. Light and Darkness DragonLord will chain block those sorts of effects as well. So really useful for just annoying the opponent, getting in the way of things. It is a great card. It's a fun card to use. It's a really cool looking card. Is Light and Darkness DragonLord the best card ever made? No, absolutely not. Does it frustrate the opponent or make them really think about what they're having to play? Yes. Is it going to affect like a top tier meta deck? No, probably not. They've got that many combos that they can do. But in terms of a rogue strategy that you're playing against friends or anything like that, Light and Darkness DragonLord is a little bit of fun. For you, not for your opponent. All right, let's talk about Bastiles now. Again, Bastiles are dragons that you can summon. They are dark dragons that you can just summon from your hand without having to do all that much. So all you need to be able to do is banish a dark or light monster from your graveyard, which we all know for Bastiles is pretty easy usually. It'd be easy in this deck as well because almost everything that we play is light or dark. And then LADDLord to be able to search for your Bastiles. And then all of the Bastiles have really nice effects as well to go alongside it. So I wanted to put a Bastile engine in the deck just so that I could get those effects as well. But you can do certain things with the Bastiles. So that's where I'm going to move on to Shadow's Light. So Shadow's Light here is an interesting card. So I've got Shadow's Light and Duality, and they serve a similar purpose. Shadow's Light, a similar purpose, not quite the same. So Shadow's Light, target 1 dark monster that you control and special summon 1 light monster from your deck or extra deck with the same original type and level. So a dark monster that you control, that can be any one of your Dark End Evaporation dragons, so you can bring out a Light End dragon or something like that. You could target a Bastille and summon out Golden Cloud Beast Malong. You got a bunch of things that you can summon from your extra deck using Shadow's Light. Shadow's Light is a really nice card for that sort of thing. This leads you on to a little bits of kind of combos to be able to do things. So Malong here can be summoned if you've got a Bastille on the field. So you can summon out Malong. And if this card is special summoned, you can increase or decrease its level by 1. So I've put Star Eater in the deck. Is Star Eater a good card? No, absolutely not. Does it look absolutely awesome? Yes, it does. And I'd love to be able to play this card in the deck. It's a really pretty card, and it's just something nice to summon. So what you can do is summon Golden Cloud Beast Malong off of Shadow's Light using a Bastille, and then reduce its level by 1, and then Malong is a tuner, Bastille is not a tuner, so you can summon Star Eater, which is a level 11 from your extra deck. And then Star Eater is just, it can't be negated, like the summon can't be negated, and you can't activate effects when it's summoned. And then it's unaffected by other card effects until the end of the damage step. It's a 3200 beta. It's pretty strong, so it's a really nice card. Plus, if the Malong is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up card that your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So you're getting a bounce back to the hand, and you're getting a Star Eater on board to be able to do some serious damage. So I like this little combo. Again, it's not going to set the meta on fire or anything like that, but it's a really nice combo to use. But yeah, that's my way of using Shadow's Light anyway. But of course, you can go into like a level 8 from the extra deck. So we've got a bunch of level 8s in the extra deck. We've got Scarlight, Red Dragon, Archfiend. We've got Stardust Spark Dragon, Dark End Dragon, Light End Dragon. You can always go into those instead, and that will allow you to then go in for a rank 8 or something like that. So they're all pretty strong monsters, but you do also have Hope Harbinger Dragon, Titanic Galaxy, Heretic Sun Dragon, Overlord. So you got a bunch of stuff that you can still go into from there as well. Lastly, we got Duality. So Duality is an odd pick to put in the deck. Some people like Duality. I quite like Duality. I think it's a really cool card. But the fact that it doesn't fusion summon or anything like that from the extra deck is a little bit... It doesn't count as like being properly summoned, so it's a little bit disappointing in that respect. But that's okay when it comes to Bastille Dispatcher. Just that you wouldn't be able to bring it back in any way afterwards because it hasn't been properly summoned. So Duality here, tribute one light or dark monster to special summon one light or dark monster from your hand or extra deck with the same name, same original type and level, but a different original attribute. So the way that I'm using this is when your Light and Darkness LADDLord has finished all of its negates and you still need a negate, you still think that there's a negate that you need or a destruction that you need, you can Duality this away for Bastille Dispatcher because its original attribute is light, despite the fact that it comes dark on the field. Its original attribute is light, so you can bring out Bastille Dispatcher with this, and then Bastille Dispatcher has got its effects to be able to negate, and it's got an effect to be able to destroy as well. Plus, you can bring back a banished monster, so you've got extra effects that you can do off of Duality. Plus, you can also get the draw one off of Duality, which drawing a card is always useful when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. So those are what I consider to be like my key cards for this deck. Like I say, it's not setting the world on fire. It definitely isn't. Is it a fun deck to play? Yes. Is it a fairly cheap deck? Take Duality out, and yeah, it's not too bad to sort of be able to buy this as a budget option. Duality and Bastille Rebellion are your two sort of expensive cards. Just looking through the extra deck, obviously Bastille Dispatcher is a fairly expensive card, although it's come down in price considerably since its reprints. So you've got plenty. It is a fun deck to be able to play, and yeah, I really really enjoy playing it. Just being able to summon so many big dragons is always nice. But Yu-Gi-Oh players like big dragons. That's why Blue Eyes has been so popular for so long, is that Yu-Gi-Oh players like big dragons. Plus, it does have that nostalgia effect as well. So, yeah. We're gonna finish this video off here, guys. Thank you very much once again for everybody who's been watching my Yu-Gi-Oh content over the course of the last sort of 7 months since I've been uploading Yu-Gi-Oh content. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful end to your year, and I will see you next time.